Hi and welcome to King's Football Show. This is the match reaction between PSV and Arsenal. And unfortunately, Arsenal decided to not turn up today and we lost the game. And we did not deserve to win today. This is going to be a hard one, guys. It's not panic stage. It's not me being Arteta in or out or anything like that. But I have to be honest, today we were poor. We didn't turn up. I felt like the defense were poor. The back, the whole back five were poor. Ramsdale did not have a good game. None of the defenders had a good game. No one in midfield had a good game, and no one in attack had a good game. So basically, the whole starting 11, none of them impressed, and no one that came in impressed either. So obviously, if no one is playing well, you're gonna lose the game. And yes, we can say that we've seen this coming with the previous performances and all of that. But I felt like today, the level of performance we saw today, this was beyond anything we've seen previously this season, and we were poor today, and that's the truth. Arsenal were poor today, and big up to PSV, by the way. I think they had a match plan. They were solid in defense. They were physical in midfield, and they hit us on the counter quite often, and they deserve to win. They could have won even with more goals. I think they had three disallowed goals for offside, and this fact that all the time we saw the warnings during the game with the disallowed goals. I think there were two in first half. We still couldn't manage to find a way to turn up, and I think that was most disappointing with today's game. Uh, Mentally wise, we didn't turn up. Physically, we didn't turn up, and it was almost like we had already won the group, and we didn't want to play, and that's not good. It's not good enough. I expect more from the players. I put this down to the players today, if I'm honest. I think we had a strong enough team to challenge and to get a result from this game. That starting 11, if you look at the back five, if you take out Holding, any one of them players want to be a starter and is good enough to be a starter. Tomiyasu is good enough to be a starter at right back. Tierney is good enough to be a starter at left back. Saliba is good enough to be a starter. Ramsdale is our main goalkeeper. So that's 4 out of 5 players who should be starting for Arsenal. And then you have someone with Rob Holding's experience. They should do better. Midfield, we had Granit Xhaka, Sambi Lokonga, and Martin Odegaard. Again, only Thomas Partey missing from the uh, uh, starting midfield, if you want to say that. Then when you look at the attack, yes, Martinelli was the only one who's the main guy, but Eddie with his new deal wants to be a part of Arsenal, wants to get more game time. Fabio Vieira bought for big money, lots of potential, lots of hype. Like that 11 we put out there should not get battered. And a battering doesn't mean losing 4-5-0. I think a battering means like today, like PSV dominated us in every apartment when it comes to being physical, first ball, second ball, creating chances. intensity, physicality. They were just better than us in all of them departments, and that's why they won and we lost. And they could have won with way more than they did. I think we should be happy with 2-0. And these things can happen in football. We just have to make sure it doesn't become a trend where we lose games. Uh, like, I know it's a long season. I know that physically wise, you can and you will lose intensity in some games. Like you won't be 100% in every game, in every competition. We are not there as a team yet to be that. But mentally, we have to be better. Physically, we have to do better. And I think the players let the manager down today, and the fans, big up their away fans, traveling all the way to the Netherlands and paying money to watch this game and cheering the team. It can't be easy. It wasn't easy to watch it live from TV. It could not have been easy to be in that stadium. And big up to everyone that's tuned in so far. Big up Moss. Moss is saying party came on and goal. Just gradually lacking intensity, being lost last 3 matches or so, and today got punished. Eddie cannot finish. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. I think that Sambi, awful game by Sambi. And you guys know that I like Sambi Lokonga, but he's showing us every week that he's not a six. But we don't have any options right now. Like, Granite is not a six. Partey can't play every game. Sambi Lokonga wants to play, but he's just not playing very well in that six role. I think it's been shown. I think Tierney today was a big disappointment for me. Someone who wants to be a starter, wants to play week in, week out. He had an awful game. Uh, he was bad in the air. He was bad in one on one. His passing was bad. Holding had a poor game. Saliba were poor today as well. He didn't get into the game. Tomiyasu was less poor, but even him never got into the game really. Didn't form any kind of attacking threat or support on the right side. And yeah, midfield again. Sambi, as I mentioned before, had a poor game. Granit did not have one of his best games. He was not good today either. Odegaard, he didn't get into the game today, which was a bit disappointing because when I saw him and Vieira, I really thought that they were gonna dominate and create a lot, but we were sloppy. We were sloppy today. And yeah, Fabio Vieira, another game where it's not been good. And I've asked this question before. Is it because he's training so hard and adding weight to his training and he just can't adjust yet to the physicality? Is that it? Because I felt like he started very well at Arsenal and he looked promising both when he played in the league and in the Europa League. But the past few weeks, Fabio Vieira has not looked it, and that's worrying. And Moss is saying, I said to Bobby, as there will be all this outrage now in King right there will be lets down. I mean Liverpool and Man United, Tottenham, Chelsea all had bad performances this year, so we had one. Yeah, and this is part of football, most like we will, and I've said this many times, we're not gonna win every game. We're not gonna play well in every game. But when we play like we did today, I think it's important that we break it down, we analyze, we criticize. That's very different from having a meltdown and wanting the manager out and calling the players rubbish or useless. I won't do any of that. I won't. And Moss is also saying Sambi had some bad touches. Vieira didn't get in on it enough. Eddie, no intensity and no finishing. And that's true. Eddie was not. Eddie's the one that I've been most disappointed with. Um, I wish I could have Tariq on the show and ask him on his thoughts on Eddie. But for me, Eddie's been a disappointment. Uh, I expect more from him, and he's not really showing us why he should be our number two. And did you hear about Pablo Mari's been stabbed or something in Milan? No, I've not heard about that. But if that's true, that's terrible. That is really terrible. And I send my prayers to Marie because you don't want to see anyone get stabbed. Doesn't matter who they are, especially not someone who represents your club. And Pablo Marie does not deserve that. And I don't know the context about it. I will do my research, but that's terrible. Yeah, you can see here in Football Italia are saying that Pablo Marie. I'm just gonna read it now. Monza and Arsenal player Pablo Marie reportedly been stabbed, according to LA7 and AGI news agency. Monza and Arsenal player Pablo Marie is one of five people that was stabbed during an attack in a supermarket near Milan. That's crazy. The incident occurred in the Care 4 supermarket in Milan in the mall around 5:30 UK time. It was 6:30 local time. Initial reports state that five people have been stabbed. Three of them are in serious condition. One of the stabbed men has died, reported to be a cashier, and one of those injured was is Mosa defender Pablo Mari. And it's not known what condition he is in, but they claim that he's unconscious and is in hospital, where Monza CEO Adriano Galliani and coach Rafael are rushing to be by his side. And it's alleged that a 46-year-old Italian man is believed to have taken a knife from the shelf and started randomly stabbing people in the store. The aggressor has been arrested by the police and taken into custody. This is terrible news, honestly. I feel so sad to hear that someone died. That's disgusting. It's disgusting and very scary to hear that Pablo Mari got stabbed. And to anyone that got stabbed in that attack, my prayers goes out to you and your family, and my condolence to the person who actually got the cashier who got stabbed and died. That's terrible. Wow. I didn't expect that. That kind of put me off a bit. So yeah. Um, and big up Errol as well. Always supporting. Make sure you guys subscribe to their channel, the Man United Agenda, one of the best channels on YouTube. Excellent content in regards to Man United, but they also discuss other teams and they do some FPL content as well. Big up. Yeah, so yeah, Arsenal lost today 2-0. We're gonna go into the player rating to discuss each kind of performance from each player and why we lost today. And I can tell you this, guys, no one is getting a man of the match because no one deserved it today. Uh, I don't think anyone played at a level where I could give them a man of the match performance. It was a bunch of bad players playing today. bad performance from the team. And it happens, as I said, like not gonna have a meltdown or a long rant, but Arsenal did not play well today. Uh, we should have played way better, and we deserved the loss. And hopefully, this loss can be a wake up call to the players and management and owners that we need to step up. The performances lately have not been good enough. But I also think today showed that the squad we have, as good as we have been, the squad is very fragile for injuries, and the squad is very fragile for fatigue as well. We don't have a lot of cover, especially in attack. And yes, it was a bad day for Arsenal. We were poor today, and we deserved to lose. So I'll start with Ramsdale in goal. Let me just put these ratings in order first. Will make it a bit easier. Good, average, poor. Yeah. Poor performance by Ramsdale. Had a He's been good this season, so I just don't want people to think that I don't rate him or have an agenda. Ramsdale been good for us this season, which has been good to see. But today he was poor, and that corner where Luke De Jong scored from, if you go out like Ramsdale does, you have to clear the ball. He missed the ball total, and they scored from it. So poor performance from Ramsdale. Probably have to give him a four. Yeah, a four from Ramsdale. Poor today, unfortunately. Um, just have to forget this game very quickly and move on. Tomiyasu, another one, poor performance. Give him a four. I don't really remember Tomiyasu doing anything good in the game. Guys, if you do remember something, just let me know. I just felt like it was a flat performance. And I think that, what's it called? Matt Turner had a growing injury or something like that. That's why Ramsdale played today. Uh, Saliba, poor today as well. He looked lost, especially whenever they were attacking us, kind of looked a bit off and scared. He was not up for it today, Saliba, which is unusual from him. He's usually been excellent this season, but today it was poor from him. So I'll give him a four as well. It's gonna be very low ratings today, guys, just so you know. So if you're looking for high ratings, this is the wrong show. Uh, Next guy, Rob Holding. Holding was poor today. Um, he looked lost and he got subbed in the second half because his display on and off the ball was not good. His partnership with Saliba was not good. The communication, being the more senior defender, it was poor, unfortunately. Uh, Probably terrible. I'll give him a three. And I think Tierney as well. I'd give Tierney a three. I actually think Tierney was our worst player today. And it's a bit sad because he's been speaking that he wants to play, that he's disappointed. A lot of fans been angry with the manager for not playing Tierney more, but he did not make a good case for himself today. I think in the air, Tierney's never been good in the air, but today he was awful in the air. One on one, he looked poor. Uh, Going forward, non-existent. Passing, poor. It was a bad game from Tierney today, unfortunately. So I'll give him a three. Him and Holding were not good. Sambi Lukonga, another one that's been speaking a lot, but Sambi speaks a lot, but he doesn't walk the talk. And I like Sambi. I think he has potential. He has good passing in him, but he's not been good. That's the truth. He's not been good. I'll give him a four. I'm maybe even being nice, but he was poor. His positioning is non-existent. Physicality. He doesn't get into the duels. He doesn't protect the back line, and he's very slow and sloppy on the ball, Sambi. And yes, I know that he doesn't like to play that six role. I know it's not his best positioning, and I know that he's still quite young, even though I don't think he's that young. I think when you're 23, you are old enough to be a senior player. Like look at Odegaard, look at Saka, look at Martinelli, and yes, each for their case. But no, Sambi needs to step up. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we're gonna have to sell him. And he's a bit unlucky that because of El Nenny's injured, we're not being able to see him in that box to box role where Shaka plays. I know that he prefers that role much better, but listen, you have to take the opportunities that you get if you want to play for Arsenal. Ask Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Like if you don't take them, someone else will. Next player, Martin Odegaard. He didn't have a good game today. Odegaard, and he also got subbed off. Poor performance. Four. I'm gonna struggle to give anyone uh, higher than a four. If you do believe anyone had good performances, do let me know. Uh, if you don't agree with any of the ratings, you could put them in the chat as well. I'm always open to read what people have to say about the team. But yeah, our captain today didn't turn up. He wasn't good, and the other captain, Granit Xhaka, poor as well. Uh, this is his worst game this season, and he's okay. He was due a bad game. He's been amazing. He's been our most consistent player, Granit. He's been our savior, been scoring goals, assists, put in good performance. But today, poor from Granit. I give him a four, unfortunately. Uh, Next player is Fabio Vieira. He was very sloppy, Vieira. Did he even create anything? Did he create a chance, an opportunity? I gotta have to give him a three. He was terrible, unfortunately. Yeah. And I like Vieira. I think he's a quality player. But I wonder if the physical training is too much for him right now. And maybe that's why he's not performing. It's not an excuse. I just wonder maybe that's the reason because he started so well for Arsenal, both in the Europa League and in the league. He even scored in the league, I think, and in Europa. But lately, he's not looked good. Forget about the goals. He's not looked good on and off the ball, and that's a bit worrying. I mean, if he wants to get more minutes in the league, he's gonna have to step up in games like this. And I do know that Mikel Arteta rates him a lot and have high hopes for him. So hopefully he can turn it around. But today it's gonna be a three for Vieira. He was not good today, unfortunately. Um, and Moss obviously loves Odegaard. He said Odegaard was good, always is. Nah, even for someone who loves Odegaard Moss, you know Odegaard can play much better and do way more than he did today. This was not his best game. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. We got 11 people live with us right now. This is the player rating for PSV versus Arsenal. Yeah, and moving on to Eddie Nketiah. Oh, Eddie. I'm gonna have to give him a three. Yes, it was a hard game for Eddie because we were not good. We didn't dominate the ball. We didn't create a lot. But the few opportunities that he did have, he needs to score one of them, if not both of them. And and he looks lost. I don't know. I feel like Eddie's lost his confidence. That aura that was around him last season and in preseason. I've not seen it really this season. Even in the games where he scored, I've not seen Eddie have complete performances. And I don't know if it's because he's not playing regularly, but now he's almost playing every week. Now, if you check it, he's starting every week in the Europa League, and he's getting subbed in the Premier League. So he's actually getting decent amount of minutes, but he's just not showing enough quality for me. And it's worrying because when any one of the front trio of Martinelli, Jesus, or Saka, if any of them needs a rest or gets a niggle or is sick or is injured, we need Eddie to turn up, and he really isn't turning up, and we don't have any other options. Like Marquinhos is just a kid. He's barely played any senior football prior to joining Arsenal. Um, Nelson Nelson been out for a very long time, but even so, Reece Nelson really hasn't shown us anything where we should believe that he is good enough. So Eddie is the main man. He got his deal. He got his number. He has to show up, and I think that it could be the case. Maybe in come the summer, we're gonna have to cash in on Eddie and buy a better striker and Balogun be the third option, especially if we get into the Champions League. Just don't think we can deal with performances like this from Eddie, unfortunately. And I do have high hope or had high hopes for him, but it's not been it. Martinelli Martinelli lost his form. I think past 3 4 weeks because Saka and Granit they've been so good. Odegaard been good. We've kind of let Martinelli slip under the radar, but again today he wasn't good, and the opportunities he had, he was sloppy with passing. I don't know, maybe ever since he had that illness, he's not been really back to 100%, but he needs to do better. He needs to do better, guys. Um, so yeah, three for Martinelli. Movement on Cheerio King, the man, the myth, the legend. Big up Mossy Moss, Odegaard's personal ambassador, always representing Odegaard, always um, backing him. The substitutions. I need to think who came in first. I know that Thomas Partey came in. I know that even Gabriel, Ben White, all of them uh, came in the second half. But I need to check who came in first. Let me see. If you remember, let me know who came on first for Arsenal. Yeah, I think it was Thomas Partey and Bukayo Saka. Yeah, they came on for Lokonga and Odegaard. So start with Partey. He didn't influence the game as much as I thought. So I'll be nice. I give him an average performance. Partey, Saka as well, average performance. I give the both a five. I don't think they influenced the game as we wanted, but because they played less and I don't think they were as poor as the starting players, I'm gonna give them a five average performance from them too. And Jesus came on, and Jesus did nothing. If I'm honest, another one. I'll give him an average performance. He couldn't influence the game as much as we would have hoped to, and it was a very kind of attacking sub. Rob Holding went off, and Jesus came on. And not long after that, Gabriel and Ben White also came on. I think Ben White looked sharp on the right back, and he's also someone who's having a fantastic season. But it's gonna be a five. He didn't do anything spectacular. Gabriel looked solid, had a few clearances in the air. He's a good header. So yeah, and then the manager is left, and it's hard because I do think the manager today put out the right starting 11. I think it was strong enough. I also think that he made some early subs. He made two in the 54th, and then another one in the 67th, and the last two in the 74th. And he brought in his best players basically from the bench. I mean, he brought in Jesus, he brought in Saka, he brought in Partey, Ben White, and Gabriel. But it wasn't good enough. And maybe you can even say he should have brought a change in halftime like PSV did. I mean, sometimes you just have to realize that the team is not working, the tactic is not working. Just make that performance. So I'm gonna give Arteta a five. Gets an average performance because I do want to emphasize that the loss today is more the players than the manager. I'm not gonna sit here and have a long rant on the manager. What I will say is that the manager has to pick up the players. We have to look into the performances we've been putting out lately. We need to analyze why we are not playing at higher intensity, why we are not creating more chances, and why we look so bad in defense. I mean, the defense looked so good at the start of the season. We need that to work. Yes, we are missing Zinchenko. Yes, he's very integral to the way we want to play, the way we want to dominate possession, the way we want to break the lines with his passing ability. But even so, we should be playing better, and we have to really step up against Forest. If we think there is going to be a walk in the park, ask Liverpool. They lost to Forest. If we want to win, even though it's at home, we gotta have to turn up. And I think that the fact that we're gonna play at home and the way the home crowd supports us, hopefully we will see a way better performance against Nottingham Forest. And if we do, then it's fine. But if we don't, then it's more pressure, more questions gonna be asked about the squad. And is it the same old Arsenal? Even though I don't think that's fair, I think that our squad is thin, both in numbers and in quality, and I think that's one of the reasons why we are lacking a bit lately. But hopefully we can turn up against Nottingham Forest. There will be a preview show for that game. And big up to everyone that tuned in today to the stream. Much appreciated. Big up Moss. Big up Errol. And big up everyone that do tune in later on and watch the content and leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And West Ham almost scored. And thank you for joining me today. Arsenal lost. And fair play to PSV. They did deserve the win. But for now,